Yeah.
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Everybody does. Mosh-turbation. When you're moshing by yourself.
Okay, I'm not coming back from that one. You've now lost me
Yeah.
for the rest of the episode. So what is your most embarrassing moment? You're like, what? No, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, regression therapy, whatever. Like, I'm not like I went to therapy for this.
I went to therapy.
Forget this. Yeah.
Like, you're just asking me.
Sure.
Every kid in the 80s remembers this bowl as the
Yeah.
catching water from the sink, popcorn, fruit salad, and throw up bowl. And you're like, yep, that was what it was.
Yeah.
We put popcorn in there, and for sure it was a throw up bowl.
And Grandma had one too.
And Grandma had one too, and
Yeah.
it was orange. Like,
Speaking of nostalgia,
speaking of nostalgia, how old is it?
39 years old.
39.
The original Top Gun movie.
Do you remember that lady running up the street, banging the pans?
Yeah.
I mean, she looked like the Village Crazy.
She was over the top. She didn't look like it. She was the village
She
crazy.
was the Village Crazy. She's like, I just saw a bear.
Are you wanting to cook it?
I think you need a bigger pot.
Get in my pan.
My cheeks still hurt from laughing so hard.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
Welcome to the Mr. and Mrs. Inglis Podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Shaen. We're here to talk about the wild ride of raising kids, growing careers, keeping life together in the middle of all the chaos.
So buckle up, because we're all in this crazy journey together.
Tater tots. See, I did remember that from last week.
I know. I see. Every now and again, I have a good idea.
Every now and again.
Every now and again, it works. Well, it totally sounded like tater tots because you're going ta-ta, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
totally sounded like taters.
Yeah, tater tots. It worked well, so.
My stamp on the podcast is or my contribution to tater tots.
Yeah.
Great.
This one thing, it helps us. It was funny because you were getting ready in the bathroom, which is just outside of the studio.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, like, I only record this by myself, right? There's only just me when I do morning cereal.
Right.
I do it every day, really, because I'm going to put a new news segment into it now. So there's like current news potentially, but that just means I have to do it on a daily basis, where sometimes I would do two. Long story short, I was like not used to having somebody listen to me. I was worried that you're out there like hearing me. And
Yeah.
there's times I can go almost through the whole thing without, like with one or two, just like I better repeat that sentence. I kind of slurred that, or I got tripped up, you know? But for the most part, I do pretty well. I don't have a lot of excess. I've got that down. But I was tripping up because I thought you were out there listening to me.
I wasn't listening. I purposely put on just some quiet, it wasn't like quiet music, like classical music. It was just music, but I had it on at a lower volume so that I truly couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
So you weren't in your head about someone's listening and
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And I was really, I had never heard the song, and I didn't know if you had it on your playlist. I was listening actually to some Jelly Roll. I don't know. He had some really good Jelly Roll songs that I need to get on my playlist.
I love all kinds of jelly rolls.
Oh, well, I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, keep
chocolate
going.
with a raspberry filling. Anyway, but a Luke Combs song came on called "When It Rains It Pours." Is that on your playlist?
I think it is.
Holy crap, that's an awesome song. I had never heard it. I think it's one of his older ones.
Yeah.
I'm like tapping my foot. I was like, I better get out of here. Like, he's gonna hear me. Like, it's one of those that you can't help but kind of tap your foot to.
Better than moshing. I mean, like tapping the foot doesn't get out of control too much. Moshing, I hear it against the door.
Can you mosh by yourself?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Smaller spaces are better to mosh by yourself, but.
Well, and especially maybe in a padded room. I don't know if you're moshing by yourself.
I have a really funny word I want to say for that, but I'm going to keep this totally G-rated and move on to the next.
Oh, I want to hear this word.
Well, I'll have to cut it. This will beep out, right? But it's mosh-turbation. When you're moshing by yourself. In small places.
Okay, I'm not coming back from that one. You've now lost me
Yeah.
for the rest of the episode.
Yeah. It won't even make it on there.
Oh, it should.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't know. Our kids listen to this. Our parents listen to this.
You don't think our parents know what that is?
They do. I know. Yeah, but I'm still not secure enough in myself to talk about that kind of stuff in front of other people openly.
Yeah. Well, we did have this experience once, and I've heard it from a couple people, friends or whatever, like you're watching a movie. Like, it could even be something as PG-13 rated, or maybe The Notebooks are, but I mean, there's some scenes in there where you're like, and we watched that.
Yeah.
With your stepdad. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. No, everybody feels that way. I was listening to Conan O'Brien the other day, and his son's, 15, 16, somewhere in there. And they watched Game of Thrones together. He's like, such a good show, but we watched it back with my son. And he's like, obviously everybody knows especially the first 2 seasons just have a little bit more explicit sexuality in it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. Because the guy that he was interviewing was like, well, wasn't that uncomfortable?
Yeah. Like, pretty sure one of the first scenes, like the whole premise, I guess, because Bran falls off, like the kid was climbing on the tower and he falls off because of one of them. Well, I guess it was a bush, but.
Yeah. Don't give away all these things. People may not have seen it, but spoiler alerts. Anyways,
yeah.
He was talking about some of those uncomfortable moments as well, which is pretty funny. Just
yeah.
Everybody has them.
Yeah. There's certain people you don't watch that kind of stuff with.
It's just embarrassment. Everybody knows this too, but embarrassment is just that core feeling.
Yes.
Right? That just is so deep within you, it'll just cut you to nothing, to that little kid all over again.
Yes.
It's the worst feeling. Embarrassment has got to be probably the worst feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's worse than failure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't like to fail.
Yeah.
But I can get over the feeling of failure.
Mm-hmm.
But the things, you think back on embarrassing moments when you were a kid, like it immediately takes you back to that feeling. And you're still, I don't know if you're like me, I'm still embarrassed by things that embarrassed me.
Oh, yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, like I'm embarrassed that I did that, or I said that, or just like, I didn't mean that, but you know what I mean?
That's how it came out, and you play it in your head, and you're like,
oh my gosh, that's just, yeah. Because there are no inspirational quotes that say, they all say, I've failed 1,000 times.
Right.
So I could be successful. Nobody says, I've embarrassed myself 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And it made me successful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people's thresholds for embarrassment are totally different. I wish I was one of those people who didn't get embarrassed easily, but
just laugh at yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But that's not me.
I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older, laughing at myself. But again, this is one of those ebbs and flows of life, right? When you're in a good spot and everything's going well, it's easy to let something roll off your back.
Yeah,
to some degree. Like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I'm used to it. I've always been self-deprecating anyway, so it's kind of my go-to safe spot.
Yeah.
But there are times when, things are, it's ebbing the other direction.
Oh, yeah.
And, some of those things that, may not have hit or may not have embarrassed you, now you're just more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure why that bothered me so much, but I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, well, I said the same thing to you just a month ago, and you laughed it off. This time you bit my head off.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's like, that's why when people are like, so what is your most embarrassing moment? You're like, what? No, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, regression therapy, like whatever. Like, I'm not like, I went to therapy for this.
I went to therapy
to forget this. Yeah.
Like, and you're just asking me.
Sure. Let me just serve that up to you.
Right. I hardly even know you. Why would I tell you that?
And by the way, bring it up anytime you feel free. You know. You want to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, if someone was there and they know about it, like, that's just what it is. You don't. Yeah. But then there's that unspoken rule of you don't talk about it.
Right. Nobody wants to. Just stick your head in the sand and pretend it never happened.
Agreed.
God, it's the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
How do you get over that? I have no idea.
I don't know, but just like I said, I was embarrassed of kind of messing up on my earlier podcast that I was recording, right? With you just on the other side of the door.
Well, and this is me, your wife.
Yeah.
The person who has known you better than anyone, lives with you, like
totally comfortable with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Seen you at your best, seen you at your worst.
Right.
And it's still like, I still don't want you to see me that vulnerable and messing up.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, well, that was a little bit of a tangent there. I don't remember. I don't even remember what caused that. We don't need to figure it out.
Moshing.
Moshing. That's right.
So true to the Mr. and Mrs. form. We just meander through.
But we've only had like 72 hours in between these tapings, though.
It's true.
So
I know.
what's happened in those 72 hours?
What's happened?
Yeah. Get this.
It's been insane, people.
Yeah. We cleaned our furniture.
Yes. We had a free day yesterday.
Yep. Free day. Loved
Nothing on the calendar. I don't remember the last time that happened.
it. It happens every now and again. And when it does, it's like, let's just sit by the pool and do nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it does happen, a lot of times it's because it was raining outside and something got canceled, so we weren't planning on having a free day, so we had a surprise free day. This was a free day we knew about.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, it was the free space in bingo.
And I was just kidding by the way. It's like, we're not just going to sit by the pool, you know,
Yeah, when was
and
the last time
relax.
you did that?
It's like, okay, well, here's that to-do list. Let's pull that out.
Yeah. It's like the Santa Claus list, like the.
It scrolls, it hits the ground and rolls 20 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll start here. We'll clean the outdoor furniture.
Yeah.
An annual.
It's an annual tradition
Mm-hmm.
that I don't look forward to. I don't like. It's probably the dirtiest that I get all year.
Yeah.
But it is one of the most satisfying things. Like, we sat outside last night.
Yeah.
We're like, furniture's clean. You know, like, I could cook on the outdoor kitchen without, like, let me just get some of that pollen off the counter, you know.
Yeah. That's nice.
It was so nice.
Growing up, I don't remember if there was ever that. I don't. We have too much patio furniture because we got a big patio,
We do.
and we didn't have that much when I grew up. And you guys had more because you guys had a pretty big backyard there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember there being that much pollen covering everything when I grew up and having like that. We need to clean up the deck and the patio area.
We had we had that gazebo.
Yeah.
And all the furniture, and now later years, my dad like wrapped it in plastic so it wouldn't get that
I
bad. But
only saw it wrapped. Yeah.
yeah, because we only go up there in the middle of the winter. But that was for sure a full day to clean that thing out.
I just don't remember. I don't remember partaking in that. We didn't have a lot of furniture, so I'm sure it just was a quick wipe down. That was it.
Yeah. And you probably, I don't know, I feel like the pollen in Texas is ridiculous. I don't remember everything just being sheeted in.
Yeah. It's just the great yellowing, we call it down here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like,
It would be
TGY.
easier to put everything in the garage
Yes.
and wrap it in plastic like your dad did
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
than to have to read. But it's so temperate out here most of the year that we can go out and utilize.
We use it.
Yeah.
There's certain areas that we don't use all year round. Like,
Right.
we pull in the sun chair, you know, those lounge chairs.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not using those, but like you use the outdoor kitchen year round. There's
Right.
chairs right there, and
Right.
but yeah, I don't know. Some people probably love the spring cleaning and that, and let me get all the flowers planted. I don't know. Are we at that stage of life where it's all just a chore?
I don't know. Is that a stage of life? It could be. I mean, there was times I was thinking about that in the shower this morning. That I do like this time of year because it's always like, oh, everything's refreshing and you're putting new things in. It is a chore to plant new flowers and go buy them and all that kind of stuff. And when you have all these pots, it is a chore. And you're right. I don't look forward to it anymore. Where it was very. At one point in time, it was like, let's get the yard looking nice, years ago. But now it's just a chore to some degree. So I was thinking about, even outside now, it's like all these things I want to do to the house or to the yard. It's like, oh, if we did this, we could do this. Oh, I'd love to do this over here. Because everybody's doing that, right? Like our neighbors are doing things. You're seeing things delivered, and it's just that time of year where, going to Home Depot and bringing over the workers.
Yeah.
It's exciting and fun.
Mm-hmm. It is. You get that.
But it's more fun now when other people do it.
You're like, hey. Yeah, we have a great handyman who we use on just little things every now and again around the yard. Like, hey, we have sprinkler line got broken or whatever. Can you fix that or whatever? And
I usually fix those.
Yeah, but what are some of the things? Like, he built our fence and stuff like that, and he's fantastic.
There was one complex sprinkler break that I didn't want to deal with because it was like a crisscross of multiple ones. I'm like, you take care of that one.
Yeah. And he did, and he's awesome, but because he's so great, there's so many things that you're like, hey, I'd like to do this in our backyard, and I'd be like, can you call Juan? He's fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
let's just do that.
Yeah. I know. Maybe it's just lazy or whatever it is. I don't know, but I'm not enjoying it as much. I talked about that last week. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's move on to something. Maybe that was a boring segment of.
It was, but it was
We'll cut some of that down.
It was a full day. It was a full day. I'm actually paying for it a little bit today with my knee. Like it's kind of mad at me.
Yeah, your knee's been giving you a tough time.
I'm pushing it.
I feel like. Because you're pushing.
Walking more. I'm pushing myself to do stairs.
You're carrying some things now that I'm not sure you should be.
Yeah, and those all kind of make it angry, but I think it's all okay.
Yeah.
I mean, surgeon was like, "Oh no, it's all great. You have great stability." And
other than the squeaking.
Oh my good Lord! Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know.
My knee sounds like a squeaky door. I mean, it's like every time I bend it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It's pretty funny, but it only does it like 50% of the time or
Only
so.
50%.
And when you're at the doctor,
It was not.
it wouldn't do it for him.
Yeah. He's like, oh, like the crackly, crunchy sound, which actually sounds gross. Like if your body's making a crackly, crunchy sound, I think I'd be way more nervous.
I know what he's talking about, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is a squeaky door. Like this is when he kind of looked at me like, never heard that one.
Yeah.
Like if you rub your finger on rubber, that kind of like
It's just not a
friction
natural
feeling.
noise to come
Yeah.
from a knee.
It's not. It doesn't sound human.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so loud that at the convention that I was at last week, we were in the convention center with, I don't know, 1,000 people, 1,500 people or whatever.
Yeah.
I crossed my legs and my coworker sitting next to me was like, what was that noise? Like, that was my knee. I mean, those things are loud and it was heard.
Yeah. It's weird. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Will I sound like a creaky door my whole life?
Well, not according to your doctor. He thinks up to a year it'll take for those things to go away. But
Yeah.
it did sound like it was a little bit different than the one he's used to.
Yeah. It's not a crackly, crunchy sound, but anyway. But there's just so much going on this time of year that it's a good time to kind of push it because, there is a lot.
Because you got to keep up.
You got to keep up. Like, there's parties, there's graduation ceremonies, there's awards.
End of school year.
End of school year.
End of sports year, tryouts for the next year.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot happening right now.
Yes. Was there that much stuff when we were kids around this time of year?
I don't think so. Not like that. I mean, the sports are a whole nother level here these days.
That's absolutely true.
And I'm trying to think. I played club soccer and I played AAU basketball, but I don't remember ever just going. I remember I had to practice every day for something.
Oh, for
but
sure.
it never felt hectic as a kid.
Yeah.
Right? But, to your point though, maybe this time of year was magical because it was the end of school year.
It was the end of school year.
And you just looked forward to the summer.
I know. And you're like, oh, I can't wait to sleep in.
Yeah. It was just about playing, getting on the bike, going to
Yeah.
the friend's house.
Yeah.
When I was younger. I don't really remember high school, like what we did for this, because by high school you're working.
Yeah.
It's just a different phase.
Yeah, you usually had a summer job.
Right.
I was working at the ice cream shop. How about you?
I was working at the restaurant.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't recall it being this busy, nor do I remember. Our kids, maybe the high schoolers been learning stuff, but like our younger two, I feel like they're totally done with learning anything.
Oh, at school, yeah.
They have field day and play day and boat race day, and I'm like, why do we even have these last 3 weeks? They could have gotten out in April.
I know, 3 weeks of it though. That's the point, right? Is when we were kids, I do remember cleaning up the classroom, like those last 2 days maybe.
Yeah.
And that was so fun, clearing stuff out, cleaning
Yes.
things up.
Your teacher needed help taking all the, stapled stuff on the walls out. And
I remember being maybe first grade. It was young because I was still at Grant Elementary School. So it was either kindergarten or first grade. And the teacher had a whole bunch of leftover like Xerox copies of those color by dots. So first you had to, do like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. So you had to draw all of them in order. And then you colored it in. And I just thought that was like the coolest thing. And I was like, I'll take them.
little Shaen.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
I probably forgot him and never brought him home because I don't remember what happened after that. But
I'm sure you did. You
I
probably
didn't spend all summer doing it, I can tell you
No,
that.
you did not. There were times when like the kids would get things like that and I would keep them for the summer like, oh, that's great.
Yeah,
They never once pulled them out. Ever.
that's funny. Yeah, we have all those things that they're like, oh, we want to keep these and this and
Yeah.
that. So much junk.
Yeah. Trash.
Yeah. Not trash yet because it's still sitting in our attic or something.
I know. Oh,
Go ahead.
no, I used to love helping the teacher like take everything down. This shouldn't shock you about my personality.
Not at all. That's why I wasn't shocked when you helped your parents do the patio furniture either.
What can I say? I'm a helpful kind of gal. I loved that stuff. You know what? The other thing I loved.
No.
I'm such a dork. When we would get free time, this was usually after, like now we have the STAR test here, like the standardized test.
Yeah.
If we finished early, we got free time if the whole class was done. And the teacher would let us use her math book that had all the answers in it.
Yeah.
And you could write on the chalkboard. And so, like, I would pretend I was teacher. I mean,
In class?
yeah.
Like
Like
everybody
during free
watching
time.
you?
Oh, no one, like everyone was kind of doing their own thing. There were some girls that also liked to write on the
Yeah.
chalkboard. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
This was not in high school though, right?
I hope not. No. I remember second grade Mrs. Plumer's class specifically doing it. Yeah, second grade.
That's good. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. Little Megan.
Little Megan. Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. But there was never 3 weeks of that.
No.
It was fun because you'd have field day outside. I think maybe it was towards the end of it. Maybe not even that far towards the end of it. But it was definitely never 3 weeks of
Right.
we're wrapping this thing up
Yeah. Yeah.
and struggling to find things to do.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a nature walk to, one of the parks, and like, I never had any of that. It was like maybe the last 2 days of school. I'm not, you don't have work.
Oh, speaking of walks, Walk for Mankind. Did you guys ever do the Walk for Mankind?
I know about it, but no, never did it.
Oh, we did. We had to do it like every year. I think it was on a Saturday or something like that. You had to get people. You had to sell. This is one of the things you sold candy bars for,
Oh, okay.
right? And then
yeah.
people would also sponsor you for how many miles you walked.
Really?
Yeah. This was back in the mid '80s, right? When I
Mhm.
don't remember, but Walk for Mankind. And I remember that it was. I remember where it was down in Colorado Springs, but it was up and through like a beautiful mountainous area and stuff like that. Really cool. It was by Chi-Chi's actually. Do you remember where Chi-Chi's was?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a park just across the street from that, and it was down there. But then it would go into like a neighborhood area. It was a 10-mile walk or something like that, and it was long. I remember it being long. I don't know if I ever finished it, but it was huge. It actually went. Now that I think about it, it was long.
All those people who sponsored you, they didn't
Yeah.
get their money's worth.
Well, no, the world didn't get its money's worth.
The world didn't get its money's
The sponsors just didn't have to pay as much.
Mankind got completely
Mankind.
gypped.
Yeah, my bad. Oh, I walked as far as I could. I remember it was long. Those are long walks.
Now, was this through the school or your family?
Through the school. Most kids did it, but I think you showed up and walked with like on a Saturday with whoever you wanted to walk with,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then I don't remember the specifics of it for sure, but I just remember doing it all the time. It was always up warm and just a long kind of walk. It was kind of fun, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was curious if it was national, if other people did the Walk for Mankind back then.
So I've heard of it. I just never did it.
Okay.
I don't know if it was something sponsored through our school or not.
Yeah.
Do you remember we had like Hearty Heart?
Nope, never heard of that one.
Yeah, that was like, they give you recipes for like healthy eating and,
Mm-hmm.
Just Say No, like all of those. I mean, I remember those campaigns,
Oh, for sure, those ones.
but,
Yeah.
I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Everybody knows that one. So great.
Crying.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Those are just
times.
ingrained in our generation's
They are.
minds, for sure. Yeah, we could have a whole episode. I love that part of the nostalgia part of it. I don't know if you get to a certain age and you start getting more nostalgic
yeah,
about when you were younger.
I think
'Cause,
so.
You're on. I've talked about it before on this show that you're on the. I've turned the corner more than likely to the second half of my life, right? And I'm not saying that in like a morbid way or like a sad way or anything like that. But I think at some point you start thinking about your own mortality,
Mm-hmm.
right? And looking back and trying to find, like, was this life I've lived good?
Yeah.
Did I make a difference? I do the things I want to do. As you
Right.
start thinking through those things, you like the good times were some of those nostalgic events.
Yeah.
That you think back in your childhood when things were so innocent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just noticed like on Instagram, I see things all the time now. It's probably because that's what I follow, but like there's just all these 80s nostalgia, 80s, 90s nostalgic things that keep popping up because I love them. And I'll show them to you. I'm like, look at this. Do you remember these? I was like, I had that. Because, you didn't have a whole 15, you didn't have 15 aisles of toys. There's only so many toys. So it's like
Right.
the one that came out, you probably had.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And like, oh my gosh, I saw one the other day. It was the Tupperware, and it's that massive orange bowl and it was like, yeah, every kid in the 80s remembers this bowl as the catching water from the sink, popcorn, fruit salad, and throw up bowl. And you're like, yep, that was what it was.
Yeah.
We put popcorn in there, and for sure it was a throw up bowl.
And Grandma had one too.
And Grandma had one too, and
Yeah.
it was orange, like that yellowy orangey color.
Oh, for sure. Everybody knows that back in the day. The
Why
Tupperware
was
parties.
that ever a color that was popular?
It was the 70s. It's a holdover from the 70s. That green and the orange, horrible colors. And everybody knows exactly what color we're talking about.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why was some marketing? Well, I can't call that person a marketing genius. Like, that's the color we should go with. I'm just.
Well, if you look back at the 70s and 80s, the fashion sense, it was a growth. It was times were moving fast for humanity.
Yes, they were.
Really putting themselves out there and stretching
Like,
fashion and forward thinking.
everyone's gonna love this orange color.
Yeah. And silver, and everybody was wearing silver in the future. In 2025, all silver jumpsuits.
That's right.
That was like
And
that was
everything
the
was like-
futuristic.
Yeah, everyone wore silver.
Yeah.
Hate to tell you, 1970 marketers, we don't all wear silver in the future.
Yeah, maybe in the future we do though.
By 2050, we're all wearing silver.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna be reflective clothing and.
It's like the next door neighbors in Christmas Vacation.
Yes.
They're running outfits.
Yeah. And why is the carpet all wet, Todd? That is a classic movie.
It is. So was Top Gun. It was Top Gun Day this last Friday night.
Yes.
Or Friday.
I
You
mean,
watched it.
I just. Okay.
Speaking of nostalgia,
Speaking of nostalgia, how old is it?
39 years old.
39.
The original Top Gun movie.
Yeah. And, I mean, although we were looking at, the actors then and now. Now,
Some have held up better.
some have held
than
up.
others.
Wow, you look at Tom Cruise and you're like, okay, he's obviously gotten older, but you're like, basically the same. And then you're like everyone else from the movie, and you're like, oh, rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's sad.
That one's
But
sad.
such a good. I mean, it just holds up though.
It
From the
does.
moment that first, chime comes in. Yeah.
Oh.
And our kids love it. They wanted to watch it. We've seen it 100 times.
Oh yeah,
Even the second movie was really good. He did a good job bringing that back. But
that was probably the best sequel
probably one of them.
that I've ever seen. It gave you all the feels, just like the first one did. It stayed true to the original, but without going over the top cheesy.
There's a few that have done that. Yeah.
And it's just like,
Godfather did that pretty well.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah. In fact, I think I like the second
trilogy.
Godfather better than the
In the
first.
first, yeah. Yeah, so that was fun Friday night. We got to do that too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a great idea. You brought it up on Morning Serial. Our oldest, was like, hey, because he loves that movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think he might want to fly.
Mm-hmm.
He spends a lot of his time upstairs flying on a
Simulator.
simulator.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to not get away from the whole summer thing
Mm-hmm.
because there's all these opportunities for our kids to do summer camps, right?
Yes.
A million different church camp, soccer camp, shooting camp, or whatever it is. You know what I
Right.
mean? Bow and arrow camp is what I mean. But
Yeah.
but
I was like,
archery,
Wow,
I guess.
what kind of, are we talking basketball? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, could have shooting. I went to a shooting camp for basketball once. It was all about shooting mechanics and stuff.
Really?
Anyways, but I mean, I went to I did do a lot of camps. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And times were different then. But, I mean, I don't remember. I did a couple, I guess, church camps that were, I would stay for a couple nights maybe, but never many. Yeah, sleep away overnights. What about you?
Not really. I did brownie camp a couple years.
Yeah.
Because I was in brownies. Never made it to Girl Scouts. Let's just be honest, I'm not super outdoorsy. I'm more of I'll Carrie Bradshaw this. I'm more of an indoor gal. And so brownie camp was fine. Bathrooms were in the woods. And yeah. So that's really my only experience with the summer camp. Oh, except for once I got to high school, I did dance camp.
You didn't do any dance things?
No, I did. So in high school, we had dance camp. And that was super fun. So that was sophomore through senior year. I did that.
See, in Colorado, maybe I did this during the school, but I think it was during the summer. There was all kinds of camps, and I did a lot. Maybe a lot of these camps I'm remembering were from Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, because we did a lot of those things, which were fun. Nature things, you'd make stuff. So maybe some of the ones I'm remembering are things that we signed up for through Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts.
Yeah.
And those were always fun. And then as we got older, we would do, sports camps and some of the church camps like I talked about. But our kids, we don't really do that with them that much. Partially, and we use this excuse all the time. It's that 4-letter word. We're busy.
Yeah.
And the second we don't have something to do, and the summer's the one time every now and again, we don't have to re-clean the furniture. We already covered that boring stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at some point we do have 4 or 5 hours just to sit, relax, and float in the pool or play with the kids in the pool.
Right.
And instead of sending them somewhere or going somewhere, because we do enjoy time with family. We only had 2 of them last night, but we played games for 4 hours at the kitchen table.
Yeah. My cheeks still hurt from laughing so hard.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That was a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It was a ton of fun.
I still think you guys cheated to beat us, but...
We did not.
Just kidding.
It was all on the up and up.
It was pretty funny.
Twice versus 2. When it asks how many times...
Yeah.
Twice is actually the right answer, even though it said 2 on the back of the card.
Well, some Trivial Pursuit sticklers might disagree, but... But a lot of our friends send their kids to some of these camps, and they invite our kids to go. So we always wonder, are we holding our kids back? Are they not getting to have some of these experiences that they should? Right. And we do a lot of fun things for our own family vacations, though, too. Where they're getting, I'm trying to maybe plan a camping trip here the next month that I know you may or may not be excited about.
Yeah, camping's not. We're going to go back to, I'm more of an indoor girl. Camping is something you enjoy for a night, and I think the boys really enjoy it.
Grew up in Colorado. How can I not like camping?
Yeah.
I could do it for a couple of nights probably, but more than that, I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, I really like once you get to a camp. And, and we go you have to find your own campsite. We won't go to an actual designated campsite, right? You kind of just go off hey, I bet we could find something cool off of this road,
Yep.
And you drive down to it. And so I really like the hours, in that afternoon when you're we've set up camp. We can kind of explore a little bit.
It's the best.
That's the fun stuff. But once it gets to dinner time, I'm done.
Cooking out the hot dogs and then the s'mores, all that stuff's not fun. Just sitting around a campfire, poking at it with a shaved down, aspen stick.
It's okay.
Branch. No?
It's okay.
That's crazy because you guys used to vacation in Colorado. Now, I know you guys rented.
We had a cabin, yeah. And there was no...
Your family's super outdoorsish, though.
Yes. I fell far from the tree on that one. Well, my parents don't camp.
Yeah.
But my siblings
They don't tent camp? Your parents don't?
Oh,
they never really did?
They've never tent camped, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
Ever. And 3 out of the 5 of us, I think, love to camp, whereas the other 2, we don't.
Yeah.
It's not really.
Interesting.
It's not our bag, baby.
It's not your bag?
Yeah, I had never camped as an adult until I met you.
And it's just the bathroom situation? Is that it?
No, okay, so the bathroom situation is really bad. Like, it's just awful. I just, that is so frustrating.
And we've taken all the steps that you can at the camping stores to glam that up as much as you can.
Yeah. And it's still just like, that's
Okay.
it's work every time. And so, well, there's that. And you're like, well, I'm eating hot dogs, which, okay, a fire roasted hot dog. If you're going to eat a hot dog, that's the only way to do it. But it's still like a hot dog. I'd rather eat something a little nicer. And you're sleeping on we do air mattresses, but I can't sleep on that. It's freezing cold. I feel exposed, so I don't sleep. So all the things that I really like, good food, a comfortable bed, nice amenities, are completely missing from this scenario.
But none of that is substituted for just getting out into nature and smelling fresh air and the smell of pines and hearing that river just flow by.
That's why I like that afternoon stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can get that.
So you just like to picnic?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I like to picnic.
I don't disagree. It is hard to find because those spots are hard to find and getting harder and harder every time we go out there, I feel like, to just meander up some road that's not private property and find a good spot that's open, that you don't have somebody down the road from you, that's hopefully by a river.
Yeah.
Those are hard to come by.
They are.
And I've never marked where we've stayed at previously, so we can go right back to that spot.
Right. And you have always found good ones. I can't complain about the spots that you found, whether that was via luck or
it's
what.
Luck. Oh, it's pure luck, yeah. I mean, I do some before Google.
Yeah.
It's just luck. You just try to find a spot, and you keep going down roads till you find one.
Yeah.
But now I did try to find one in Google. Remember the last time we went, and it was like, oh, shoot, there's a private fence there. Can't do that one.
Yeah. But we had a good spot the last time we went.
Yeah.
It was the people living out of the van that we passed, once we turned off the road, that I was a little afraid
Yeah,
of.
half a mile still up the road.
Yeah.
A mountainous road.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to just sneak up on us in the middle of the night.
Yeah. I mean, the man did have knives in the back of his, behind him, like a Deadpool kind of thing. But
Are they swords or knives? Machetes?
they were big knives, and this family was clearly living out of their van, and I was a little nervous.
Yeah. They had toddlers, though. I mean, is he going to go kill us and bring us back to the family?
Yeah, feed us to the dogs. I don't know.
We're also armed, so.
Well, we found out later. We found out the next day that we were in mountain lion territory.
Yeah. Well, we're in mountain lion territory where we live. There's been mountain lion sightings.
Yeah.
But that might be more of a.
Yeah, because the park ranger was really funny. The park ranger that saw us the next day, we thought we were getting
on the
in
way
trouble.
out.
Yeah. She wasn't. She didn't care at all that we were there.
Right. Yeah, you were so nervous when she rolled up. All the kids were like, we're going to get arrested. Guys, we're in a national park.
We're rule followers.
Yeah.
We're all rule followers.
There's no proof that we started a fire.
Yeah, we had already doused it at that point.
Yeah.
There had clearly been campfires in that area.
The way to do it, though, and the way we've done it in the past, is we'll go there, we'll drive from here to Pueblo, stay in a hotel in Pueblo, get up early that morning. We go river rafting, which is a ton of fun. Get a little bit of a river raft bath for the day.
Yeah.
Then we head to camping after that. And that's what always makes it tough, because it's after a half day of that. So we quickly got to find a spot that we haven't found yet.
Yep.
Set up camp, which nobody enjoys that part of it. Finding and setting up is the hardest part, and tearing down. Because then, it's like after Christmas, you got to clean up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But after that, after 1 or 2 days, then we would go to Estes Park, or that one time we went to Colorado Springs, and we just rented a nice house in a nice area.
Yeah.
And then just, enjoyed the house for 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Because then you only have one night out, but we get a feel for that. Plus we get more of a feel while we're in the house.
Right.
And the house in Colorado Springs was the one that had the bear.
Yes. That was as close as you and I are. I mean, through a window, but...
Yeah.
I mean,
it would have broken that window easy.
Yeah. Our son's sitting in the window, and the bear is
Walks right by.
right there.
That was crazy.
Yeah. It looked brown, but it was a black bear, right?
That was a black bear for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Big black bear.
It was big.
Yeah. And when it's, a foot from you on another side of a thin piece of glass.
Yeah.
That's a huge, looking glass. What is those?
Yeah, it was like I don't know what else.
Bay window.
Yeah, it was a big bay window.
Though.
Yeah, because you could sit in it.
Yeah.
There was like a nook there that you could sit in.
Yeah, just a little pressure on that, and he would have come right on in to the living room.
Well, we wondered why there was do not, leave
Feed the bears.
Yeah, don't feed the bears and close the sliding glass door. Don't you just use the screen door.
Right. There's locks on the trash cans. Same thing in Estes Park, though. Remember there was bears there? People were banging their pans while we were there. So.
Do you remember that lady running up the street banging the pans?
Yeah.
I mean, she looked like the village crazy.
She was over the top. She didn't look like it. She was the village crazy.
She was the village crazy. She's like, I just saw a bear. You're like, okay, I didn't, and I've been here the whole time.
And are you wanting to cook it?
I think you need a bigger pot.
Get in my pan. Some bear soup.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
So we'll figure that one out. But yeah, this is the last week of school. As we head into close here, last week of school, we're going to close out this episode. We'll close out the school year.
Yeah. And in fact, by the time this airs, our children will be on their first day of summer.
Yeah. Which is nice for us, too, because that turns into summer routines, too.
Yes.
We don't have to get up. We get an extra hour of sleep.
Yep.
Which is a beautiful thing.
We don't have to leave, you primarily don't have to leave work to go pick up the kids at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and just that interruption of the day.
Yeah.
It's filled with other interruptions, but
yeah,
it's all good.
Summer's here. Gotta love
Summer's
summer.
here.
It's hard not to love summer in every shape and form.
Really is.
Vacations, camping, sleeping in, swimming,
Yep.
s'mores. I mean, there's so many things associated. Picnics, stargazing,
Love picnics.
BMX bikes. I have no idea.
Can't wait to get on my BMX.
Yeah.
Mosh pits.
Moshing by yourself. That's funny. All right. Well, let's think. All right. We'll think about our words here.
Okay.
All right. So we'll count to 3. This will be the word that sums up the last week for us.
Yep.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Anticipation.
Stick-to-itiveness. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Anticipation for summer for you? Or
Yeah,
just the end of the year?
End of the year, I feel like everyone, the stick-to-itiveness is really, I think, insightful. I like that. Everybody this week, as busy as the week was, I think everyone is in such good spirits because of school coming to an end or whatever. So no matter how busy they were like, it's okay. I just got to do this for another week or two. I got this.
Yeah, we're on the last.
We're on the last.
Last Thursday.
Yeah.
Last full Friday.
Right. No more Fridays of school, and so that stick-to-itiveness, anticipation, it was all just, it kind of needed both to get through the week.
Yeah.
So.
Well, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a good last week of school. If you kids were in the last week of school, some people, big changes. People going to different schools next year. Some people going to colleges. Sands of time.
I know,
Another
graduation
page.
parties. I know a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
were at graduation parties. Some people were hosting graduation parties this week. So if you were, I hope you had a fantastic time and you got to celebrate your graduate. That's exciting.
Congratulations. That's fun.
Awesome.
Exciting time. All right. Well, hey, have a great week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Catch you later. See ya.